Are you a software developer and you are worried that my job can be killed by AI today or tomorrow? Then you are at the right place. You know, last 1 decade, AI has done tremendous growth, a tremendous, massive growth. Its algorithm, its neural network has done tremendous growth. And I say today that literally AI can do almost everything. And they are doing. A lot of projects are going in the area of AI, and they are doing a lot of automation in every area, in every business. Right? There was a researcher at US department, and they are claiming, this is not my claim by the way, they are claiming that there is a high chance that AI will replace software developer job as early as 2014. That's pretty alarming. I'm not sure how this is going to happen, whether this is real. By 2014, really the software development job can be replaced by AI. I'm not sure. But they are claiming, and a lot of initiative, lot of project is already going in that direction. Right? Something is happening already in that direction. At the same time, there was a survey done at EOS Data Corp where 550 software participated in that survey, and the same question were asked, are they worried that AI can take their job? And in that survey, 29% people said yes. What they replied, I and my development effort are replaced by artificial intelligence. Yes, that was the reply. So already lot of project, lot of initiative already has been taken in this area where AI is able to write code. Yes, AI can write code nowadays. But how efficient that code, that I will talk about later. So before going to talk about whether AI can really replace the job, it can replace the coding job or development job, let me put some context. How the AI is evolving nowadays, how the AI is making progress one by one. So today I told you AI can do literally everything, and they are able to do that. They are capable. AI can write, AI can play games. Yes, AI can play games. Already a lot of development has done in this area where AI software can beat the world champion. You will not believe that, but this is happening today. In 2016, Google developed a program called DeepMind. Okay, so this was created to play the board game. It was Go, and you will not believe in this game beat Lee Sedol. He was a world champion. And this man, the man and the machine, played a 5 games tournament in Seoul, and Lee Sedol won only the 4th game. In the fifth game, he won only the 4th time, only the 4th game. So you can see here the AI can beat the human. In the game, AI can beat the human. So that's what AI is become so powerful nowadays. It's getting so much power, so much brain, so much neural network in this that they are capable of beating the human beings. So this is alarming, right? You can see this picture. Can you imagine this picture is drawn by human or machine? What do you think? This picture is drawn by a machine, that is AI. This is not a human by human. So AI can draw a picture, so nice, so beautiful picture, right? So AI is so much capable of doing this. At the same time, AI is also able to compose music. This is unbelievable that how AI can create and AI can compose a music, man. How? But already work is going in this progress, and already Google has a project called Magneta. So this is the project, and this project is based on TensorFlow. There's an open source project I will talk about later. So Google has already created one project to compose the music, songs. in this area. So see how powerful it is, how it is evolving day by day. AI is how evolving day by day. And in 2015, there was an open source project by Google, Tensorflow. Yes, so in 2015, Google released this project as an open source, as a free. So everybody, anyone can play with TensorFlow. It's an open source project to create AI, to develop the neural network AI. And I have personally used this TensorFlow. I have worked on this. It's pretty powerful. It's very easy. It's pretty easy to develop any kind of AI. You can create any kind of neural network to accomplish any kind of job. So why I was thinking why Google is released so complex, so valuable open project as an open source and free to the public. Why? 10 years back from now, 10 years ago, Google, on the same line, Google has released Android operating system as a free, as an open source. And today, 85%, more than 85% phone are running on Android operating system. So what is the plan? Why the Google had released the TensorFlow as an open source, so they are planning that in next 10 years, more than 80% of the AI system will run on TensorFlow. So that's a plan in future. So can AI write a code, or already some project already started, or something is already taking place, already something happening in this area? A lot of project is already developed in this area. Okay, I'm going to mention just one project. This project is called Deep Coder. Though there are so many projects already in pipeline, already has been developed to write a piece of code. So this is the project Deep Coder. This project developed by Microsoft and Cambridge University. So they have developed artificial intelligence that can write a code and call it Deep Coder. So this tool, Deep Coder, they are able to write a code, but I can't say this code is I can say it's fully ready for production. Yes, but they can write the code, they can write the skeleton. If you put some logic that in this context, in this scenario, I want this piece of code, so they can write the skeleton, but this is not production ready yet. I can say this is not production ready. So already there are a lot of projects. I'm not going to mention all the project, what is happening, but there are a lot of projects, a lot of things that are happening in this direction where AI can write some code. If you're using any IDE like Eclipse, like Visual Basic, so there is a project by GitHub and OpenAI. It is called Copilot. I think you might have used this Copilot project. So this project, if you use this project in your IDE, so that IDE will show you some suggestion. So once you type some code, it will show some suggestion that for this piece of code, for this context, this can be the next piece of code. So you don't have to remember everything, right? So nowadays writing a program in IDE is become so easy, so pretty easy. Why? Because of this AI. So Copilot is one of the example where it is helping you to write a code, right? At the same time, if you are from Java background, then you might be using Spring. Long back ago, I remember when I started my career, then I used to use Spring Core, right? In Spring Core, there was a lot of configuration, a lot of XML file was there, a lot of things was involved there. But nowadays, Spring has evolved and it has become a Spring Boot, right? You know what is Spring Boot? So what is Spring Boot? Basically, Spring Boot is a nice example. It's a classical example of automation. Yes, it's an example of automation. So Spring Boot automate a lot of things. You don't have to write XML code. You don't have to configure anything. It is already configured. Your data source, beans, depending upon the context, depending upon the jar file in your project, it configure everything, right? So this is a classical example of AI. Spring Boot is a classical example of automation. So a lot of development is going in this area. So you can see here a lot of projects, a lot of initiative is already taken place in this area where AI can help you or AI can write a piece of code. But the conclusion is, I can say that yeah, AI is today, I can say still AI is young, still AI is very, I can say, immature to writing a code. Though AI can write a code depending upon the context, it can create the code, skeleton code, but still it is not production ready. Okay, so this is my take, this is my perspective. I can be wrong, I can be totally wrong, but this is my perspective. What is going to happen in next decade? So AI, I think yes, AI can write a code. I there's no any second thought that AI will not write a code or not. I think AI is capable and AI will be capable in going forward to write a piece of code depending upon the context, depending upon the information, what information we feed into the system in neural network. They will write a piece of code, no doubt about it, and a lot of project is going in that direction. They will create the skeleton of the code. But I believe then that software is a very complex thing. It's not just writing a code. Complex software development is not only just writing a piece of code. There are a lot of things are involved. There is a business requirement. You have to fit all the business nitty-gritty, all the business things into your application. Then you have to write a code, you have to test it, and you have to do a deployment in the production. Then you have to verify everything is running well in the production. So it's a very complex process. It's not very easy just writing a code, a piece of code, and you will start making a good software in production. It's not going to happen. So what AI can play here, according to me, that AI can help the developer. Yes, AI can, depending upon the context, depending upon the past history, AI can produce a lot of nice code, skeleton code, right? But still we require some developer to put the context, to feed the business logic inside that code, which is produced by AI. So still what I think, what I believe is still human interaction, human intervention is still required. Though AI can produce the code in next 1 decade or 2 decade, I don't know when will this happen. Well, this will happen, but still AI, the developer is required, right? Because I think AI will produce the code, but this is not the production ready yet. So some developer, some person required to take this code, right, fill the gap, put the business logic, test it, and deploy into production. So this process is still required. But what I feel going forward, let's suppose in your team there are today, let's suppose today there's a requirement of, let's suppose 5 developer or 10 developers. Let's suppose 10 developer. Okay. So in future, when AI is capable of writing nice piece of code, so there is a chance that going forward in future, instead of 10 developer, your team or company require only, let's suppose 4 or 5 developer. So the number of developer, the requirement of number of developer will reduce significantly. This is my take, this is my conclusion. I can be wrong. So yeah, going forward, I don't think so the job of developer, the job of coding is going to be 100% eliminated. It's not going to eliminate the job 100%. Still we require developer, I think so, but the number of developer may be required lesser. This is my take. So conclusion is, yeah, AI will write code, no doubt about it, and the number of developer, the reliance on number of developer will reduce significantly in future, but still the job, the coding skill and developer is still required to take care of the production, to take the code and deploy into production. So this is my final take, this is my final conclusion that yeah, AI is capable of writing code, and this is the fact. We cannot deny that AI is writing a job, AI is writing a code, and it is able to write a code. But whether this code is production ready or not, so that is the question. And how in going forward in next 1 or 2 decade will AI produce a production ready code? That's a question. If AI is able to produce a production ready code, then I feel that the job of developer is in risk. To be honest, if AI is able to do this, then definitely the job of coder, the job of developer is in risk. In that case, let's suppose hypothetically that if AI is able to produce a production ready code, then I think just one or two developer is good enough to take this code and deploy into production and test it. That's all it has to do, right? But if AI is not able to do that, then still developer job is not in risk and still developer is required, in my understanding. So this is by the conclusion of this session, this video, that whether AI will kill the AI coding job or whether AI will destroy the software developer job in future. This is my take. This is Rajesh signing off. I will see you soon. Till then, goodbye. Take care. Bye.